Putin's new gas squeeze condemns Europe to recession and a hard winter of rationing.
With Russia restricting natural gas supplies to the area and heavy industry facing strict rationing in the coming months, Europe's economic downturn appears to have been confirmed. The Russian gas giant Gazprom stated Monday that flows would be restricted once more, only days after Europeans exhaled a sigh of relief when supplies through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline would resume. Incredulity and condemnation met Gazprom's announcement that it would be for maintenance of a pipeline turbine in Europe. Ukraine's President, Volodymyr Zelensky, said the move, which will result in flows to Germany falling to 20% of their capacity from an already low level of 40%, was equivalent to a gas war with Europe. Robert Habeck, the Minister of Economy of Germany, called the justification for the supply cut, that maintenance was required, a farce. It places Europe in a precarious position as it struggles with escalating prices, the conflict in Ukraine, and a supply chain that is already having issues as a result of the COVID-19 outbreak. Germany, the largest economy in the region and a long-standing engine of prosperity, has particular cause for concern. It is rapidly heading into a recession and is heavily dependent on Russian gas. In particular, the government is worried about how it will maintain power over the winter. "We have a terrible dilemma," Habeck remarked on Monday night. "It's time for everyone to realize that," I said in an interview with ARD. Germany must decrease its gas use, according to Habeck, who added, "We're working on that." He said that in the event of limited supply, gas for businesses would be prioritized over homes or other vital infrastructure, such as hospitals, or for private houses. Of course, the possibility of this happening is a major concern, one that I also share. Afterward, certain industrial chains in Germany or Europe would just stop being produced. "With all of our might, we must prevent that," Habeck stated. Continuity with Russia. As a result of its war in Ukraine, Russia is subject to a variety of international sanctions, and gas is one weapon it can employ against Europe. The region used to get about 45% of its annual supplies from Russia, and despite its desperate attempts to find alternatives, like American liquefied natural gas, it is unable to do it quickly enough. Analysts anticipate a challenging winter for the continent unless things drastically alter. According to a research released on Sunday by S&P Global Market Intelligence, high energy costs are pushing Western Europe toward recession. "We have factored in tame second quarter real GDP declines in the UK, Italy, Spain, and the Netherlands in our July prediction. The central banks are speeding up the tightening of monetary policy as inflation has surprised to the upside. While a pickup in tourist and consumer spending would provide the area a minor boost in the summer quarter, another setback is predicted in the fourth quarter due to unstable energy supply," it continued. "An obvious recession. High prices for energy and natural gas will hurt Germany's and other manufacturing hubs' ability to compete globally." S&P issued a warning that the catastrophic Russia-Ukraine conflict will probably continue until 2022, eroding consumer and corporate confidence throughout Europe. The real GDP growth for the Eurozone is forecast to decline from 5.4% in 2021 to 2.5% in 2022 and 1.2% in 2023 before picking up to 2.0% in 2024, according to the report. EU governments agreed Tuesday to ration natural gas in the coming winter in a bid to insulate themselves from further supply cuts by Russia, with the bloc's energy ministers approving a draft European law aimed at lowering demand for gas by 15% through the fall and into next spring. There has been disagreement among EU nations regarding the limiting of gas use, therefore it is unclear whether the gas savings can be realized. Limiting consumption has its limits. Fundamentally speaking, Europe has a high demand for natural gas, particularly liquid natural gas, LNG. Rationing can't be ruled out, which will particularly affect energy-intensive industry like automakers, chemical manufacturers, and cryptocurrency mining. In remarks sent through email on Tuesday, Simon Tucker, global head of energy, utilities, and resources at Infosys Consulting. Before the winter sets in, EU nations and the UK must make every effort to restock their gas supplies. To do this, they must examine all options for reducing energy use and enhancing supply. The number of LNG shipments from the Middle East and North America has already significantly increased. However, nations must quicken the modernization of their own infrastructure. If we want to emerge stronger from this crisis, widespread deployment of low-carbon, domestic energy alternatives like community renewables and tiny nuclear reactors is not just a nice-to-have, it's a need. Given the length of time that such a program of infrastructure modernization is anticipated to take, Europe is likely to experience additional short-term economic hardship. According to a report released by Citi economists and strategists on Tuesday, the likelihood of a recession in Europe now appears to be clear-cut, with Russia's decision to once more reduce gas shipments likely to have clear-cut. Given the state of savings, family leverage, and business balance sheets, we anticipate that tighter financial conditions in Europe will cause a far worse reaction in the real economy once plans for energy rationing for winter become finalized. Winter is approaching Europe's doorstep, Citi said. Naturally, once the alleged upkeep of this turbine on the Nord Stream 1 pipeline is finished, Russia might perhaps start up its gas exports to Europe once more. It's a little unclear as to whether this will be a brief supply restriction while the repaired turbine makes its way back online or whether the paperwork will never quite be resolved, and we live with only 20% supplies for a significant amount of time, Deutsche Bank analysts led by Jim Reed said in a note on Tuesday. They added that Russia was likely seeking more clarity on future sanctions exemptions for maintaining NS1 and related issues. The Russians will be aware that this will probably be challenging to do. Therefore, it seems that Russian politics will be in charge here for the time being, they stated. The planners thought that even with modest restriction, Germany could survive the winter with the pipeline operating at 40% of its potential. The analysts from Deutsche Bank stated that rationing would likely be necessary at a 20% level unless gas exports were reduced, which would be a highly delicate political decision. The projected 15% cut that all EU member states have just agreed on could be challenging to implement in practice in the meantime. If a proposal that can move forward is agreed upon, expect many of carve-outs and concessions to appear, they advised.